Hey y'all, it's Anime K-Man. Today I'm going to be reacting to reviewing the first episode of Virtual Son Looking, and I gotta say, this episode didn't have fucking much. Now, at least for me, because I'm not familiar with these virtual tubers from, I'm assuming, Nico Nico Doga or YouTube, because it mentioned a lot of their names and personalities, and I wasn't just invested into any of this, so I guess I'm gonna just come out and straight out and say, for anyone that's a VTuber that's seen and knows about these VTubers and Nico Nico Doga, I guess check it out. But for anyone else that doesn't know about all that, don't check it out, because let me explain why. Now, this episode, the characters, it's just fucking randomness, honestly. You don't get a feel for any of these characters much, except for this exposition dump near the start, but that's about it. But it really doesn't invest in any of them, and when it does invest in any of them, it's just them doing just random shit that's not really super funny, with the exception of one sequence when their characters are near a volcano, and they're like, let's just imagine we're in a safe spot, and then one of them screams, we're in a volcano, and then they just remember, oh shit, if that lava hits us, we die. And then they all have screaming, and then this volcano of like kawaii eyes blows them up. Those were one of the few instances where the character personalities made for a funny sequence. And then there was a scene where this chick was playing video games randomly, and then she was just rolling down the floor when there was an unsatisfactory end result. And the show kind of panned into it, and then she's like, oh wait, this is recording? And it was some pretty good CG animation in comparison to the rest of the episode. So there were a few sequences here and there in the episode that were nice, even towards a person that isn't familiar with virtual YouTube VTubers and all that. So there were some things in this episode that showed sparks of something that could be good. It's just that majority of the episode... Oh, and then there was a scene where this dude with like the horse head tried to confess his sins, but then this lady that... in the church, but then this lady that wants to know how to like wash her clothing properly just slams him into the fucking wall, not giving a single fuck. And then afterwards, there's a sequence where this chick just wants to learn how to clean her clothing, and then this fucking horse gets slammed into a wall, horseman. And that was a good sequence too. So this episode did have some good sequences, but they were mostly filled with like boring, mediocre sequences, because this anime does the anime sin of telling and not showing jack shit. Because there were sequences where there were funny things described, but they were never really shown, so it's hard to like get a joke out of it. Like the same horseman that was slammed in the wall at the beginning of the episode was explaining like these multiple personalities, like this man with rockets and other stuff that seemed funny, but that would have been funny if it was like an animated form. Or there was a scene where this grandmother was talking about this toilet paper prices in 1973, which might have been funny if they had shown some animation and people going to crazy lengths to get toilet paper, but just having it spoken to the audience and just having like these people in the audience just listen like these virtual people was kind of boring. It wasn't really much. It was like, meh. There was potential there to be funny, but just seeing it like presented like that with no animation to go along with it wasn't entertaining. So this anime did have potential to be great. They had all the elements. I mean, so the story and characters weren't so good, but I'll give it credit. It had a good soundtrack, and the voice cast was pretty nice. I enjoyed their performances. I mean, they did their best with what they had with this script. If they had a better script, I think it would have been good or maybe even amazing. But it just sadly wasn't for those reasons I mentioned. And the art animation, aside from a few sequences here and there that looked good, it wasn't really that great. And then they made the same joke twice. They made a joke when the animation was lagging, and that was kind of funny the first time, but then they made the same joke again, similar, where they couldn't complete the animation, and I was like, it feels like they're just doing the same joke. Usually when a show pokes fun of their animation quality, They just do it in a single portion of the episode, not twice. So feels like there were sequences where it felt creatively bankrupt too, sadly. And what else? And I'd say for those reasons, that's why this episode didn't exactly resonate with me. Now, I did enjoy the opening and ending sequences, though. And honestly, it was kind of annoying how they teased us with hand-drawn animation because it actually looked pretty good. I would have rather seen that than fucking this CG thing. Oh, maybe if it were hand-drawn, maybe it would have been better, but just the awkward animation where... Oh, and let me tell you about the animation. There are times when a character is speaking and sometimes their mouths are closed and sound's still coming out of their mouth, and it just feels pretty fucking weird. Feels robotic and lifeless, and yeah, it's part of the reason why I couldn't really get into it, and that's why I'm going to rate this episode a 4 out of 10. I mean, there might be potential here, but I fucking doubt it. I don't even know if I'm going to watch the next episode, and I highly doubt it, because there's a lot of shows coming out this season that I actually like, so time constraints might keep me from giving this show another shot, honestly. But I guess for anyone that's into virtual tubing and knows about a lot of famous virtual tubers, I guess this will be worth a watch. But for anyone else, just stay away. Alright guys and girls, my thoughts on the episode. Comment out your thoughts on the episode below in the comment section. Rate the video, subscribe if you want to see more reviews and reactions. And I'll see you guys later. Subscribe for more. Alright guys and gals, bye bye.